what we try to do is try to education, some knowledge here as we are here on YouTube. And we're in the tax sales. We do tax lien, tax deed, and tax redeemable deed investing. That's our business, okay? These are people who didn't pay their property taxes, and then we have the right to pay their taxes and be a lien holder on the property, or we have the right to bid at the property and then own the property. So we're going to talk about state of Minnesota today. All right. Well, Minnesota is a tax deed auction state, and in a tax deed auction state, we're going to bid to win the property. So remember, when you do tax deed auctions, okay? Tax deed auctions, you're there basically to try to win the property. So the auction there is that you're bidding to buy the property in a tax deed auction. Tax lien is completely different. So Minnesota is a tax deed auction state. So when you're bidding over there, you plan on bidding to win the property there, okay? Now, I mentioned this over at TikTok, and I'll tell you this here. Major court ruling that came out that Minnesota counties fought all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court because it was big money. People don't realize how much big money there is in this tax sale business. They don't really realize that the government is really getting a ton of money from the U.S. Supreme Court, and they lost. The counties lost. And what owners have the right to petition to get the overage money. In other words, the money that is left over at the auction. So if the auction goes at $50,000, it can get bid up to maybe it sells for $200,000. Let's say hypothetically sells for $200,000. Well, that $150,000 from the opening bid of say $50,000 to $200,000, that's called an overage or excess premium, however you want to call it. That $150,000. The owner would petition to collect that money back, you know. Well, the counties were keeping the money. Said, no, that's not your money, that's our money. You got the right to get the money before the auction, but because we took over the property, hey, you know, we're going to keep the money. So it went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the counties lost that ruling. And they made a major shift and saying, counties, you cannot keep your overage. You must give the owner an opportunity to apply for the overage money. You have to do it. So then the counties in Minnesota, and affected all the states, you know, Michigan and all these. Michigan already lost a major battle before too. So Minnesota scrambled because they had to pay back a lot of money back. The state of Minnesota, a lot of money back. And so it changed the rules. Now, of course, what they're going to do is they're going to still make hoops that the owner goes through in terms of petition. You can do it, but you got to apply. Is there a time limit that these counties can do this? Because, you know, you're talking millions of dollars that these counties are trying to get money, you know, in the property. So you're going to win the property in the state of Minnesota. You're going to win the property there in the state of Minnesota. Okay? And you got to do some homework before. So it's not like a leeway. And the leeway basically is what? You're not going to own the property right now in a lien state. You're just going to be a lien holder on the property, and you get a good interest rate if they pay you back or not. That's really what it is. But a deed auction, you're going to bid and you're going to own the property. That's how Minnesota is. So just remember, Minnesota tax deed auction, whoever pays. So you got to make sure that before you are bidding, you want to check with the county. You want to check any code violations. Are there any code violations on the property? Building violations on the property? Anything you can think of that are on the property for violations. Find out, if you buy the property, does the water lien go with the property, or the sewer lien, that they didn't pay? Does that go with the property or not? That's something we have to know. Okay, it's extremely important that we know that in the state of Minnesota. So every state's going to run it differently. And every state states run different, counties run different, cities, municipalities run different. So they're very unique. So it's very hard, for people to be wrapped up about, my God, this state runs this way, this state runs this way, the auctions run this way, the city runs this way, the county runs this way, all these things that is very complex and complicated. That's why it's important to know, okay, do some homework, do some knowledge. Maybe yes, maybe no. There's great deals all around the country because there's so many properties that go to sale. And there's so many liens that go to sale. Internet now. You got the internet, so a lot of these counties are having them on the internet. They're having it on the internet. So you got more competition because you're competing against everybody worldwide on that situation. Okay? So in my final wrap-ups today, we've been talking part of the United States. So you know how the weather's going to be in the winter time over there. You got to take that in consideration in the winter time. It's going to be cold, freezing pipes, might rain a lot, snow a lot, okay? So we got to take all those things into consideration of where we want to invest. And you got to know it's a deed state. It's a bit of premium. A lot of them are either online or in person. It's your responsibility as an investor, tax sale investor, to find out if you want to do a certain county, where is it going to be held, okay? It's important that we know that, okay? So, anyways, I do hope everybody gets some education. Somebody gave me a little thumbs up. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I appreciate it very much, okay? If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we kind of do lives, plus we do 1-minute shorts and everything. So anytime I come live, you can put in chat, we can answer some questions for you, okay? So you get some knowledge as much as possible. This is the key. I wish they had all these YouTubes and all this other stuff when I was younger, okay? Because there is some good information on YouTube, and you can learn, So anyways, I appreciate everybody watching. I'm going to probably bounce over to Facebook. I'll bounce over to Facebook now and do a little bit over there too, all right?